There are some real limitations to the Inspire system, especially if you have eyes like mine that aren't the best. And even with a crystal sky monitor, which is awesome, when I'm looking at a screen that's 7 inches or whatever it is, you can see well for sort of bigger shot composition, but it's intimidating and less accurate to get in close to obstacles to really fly the way you do with an FPV, because you feel like you're there with FPV. So I had the idea to rig up an Air Unit and be able to use my FPV goggles on my Inspire 2. And then I got online and I saw that Nurk and a couple of the other guys had actually done it. They sort of mentioned it in passing, but I hadn't seen anybody really digging into that. So here's a little how-to video on how I got mine working and a little bit of footage at the end. In case this is helpful to anyone, I figured now that I've gotten to the bottom of this, I'll shoot it in reverse so you can see basically if you need to get into your Inspire 2 and run external power. So what I'm trying to do is tap battery power and get it out to a step down that would then give me a 5 volt or 9 volt depending. Then this is how you do it. Now we have 9 volt power coming right out the bottom of the bird. I could zip tie it. The fuselage actually attaches like this. These parts go together, the battery compartment and the Cinecore module. They connect via those 4 banana plugs. So the ones on this side are a set and the ones on the other side there are a set. And those connect to the batteries. So you have a 6S battery on each side. I'm going to remove these 4 small screws to hold this bottom plate on. That was quite difficult to get off without breaking that piece. So what I found is that I had to kind of work it from the back end. There are some little tabs right around here. Work those sides. They will eventually pop. And then kind of work it up. And then here in the center is actually, this pokes through this little rubber standoff. And it pokes through, so you kind of have to get around the edges with a, I use one of these guys, and just kind of poke those edges down through there. And then at that point, it'll kind of, you can just kind of work it out of here. Okay, so what I've done here is, once you get that bottom plate off, and then you also get off the little plate that's around the tops of the banana plugs, I actually just snipped a little corner, if you can see that on the black wire, just a little into the insulation there to expose some of the wire. And I also you know, fluxed it and got it ready to receive that solder. And I'm just kind of soldering these wires on there, and then I'm going to drop this little Maytech down in here. So I'll show you when that's done. Alright, sorry I'm not filming this as I go, but you can see here, if that's enough focus, hopefully that's focused, that I've run the Maytech. This is the power supply. So I'm running out of that into the input of the Maytech. I have jumped the 5 volt, 9 volt jumper on here so that it's going to output 9 volts. And then these are my output leads. So, all right, a little safety measure I'm going to take here is, you can see how I heat shrink that. I'm going to lay it down, make it as neat and tidy as possible in here, and silicone conformal coating on these spots where I've left a little bit of exposed. Should be fine, but you know, if some moisture got in there or whatever, that way it'll be sealed up. Because I just realized there's a grommet there. If you see, there. Let's see what the orientation is on that. There's a grommet right there that has a small hole. So if you're using small enough wire like I am, that's going to come out right there, which is really nice. Probably better than using that hole, because I think that needs to be a tight fit. So I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue down here is what I'm going to do. Make that nice and secure so stuff's not moving around. Put these screws back on and start reassembling. Alright, let's put it back together. Hopefully I'm remembering this right, that the longer ones, I think I've got that backwards. The longer ones, once you've done your solders, don't break them. Keep everything nice and tight to those wires. Keep it off. I don't know if you can see any of this, but I'm trying to keep these close to these wires and keep this just off that screw hole a little bit because of the way this sits. It really doesn't leave you a ton of room to mess around. But this basically is as flush as you can get. Yeah, and really I had kind of an extra hot glue point there that I didn't actually need. Without lifting this front bit over these screw heads and then kind of guiding this down, guiding this in here. This base plate is fairly flexible too. I just want to make sure I'm not sort of chopping into my lines. Flat area. Definitely keeping those lines in closer to that edge seems to really help. Now, get this down, boom, there's one side. The trick with this kind of, especially these light plastic parts, is don't force it and really just guide it home. Finesse, finesse, finesse. Sort of ask it to go into place as much as possible. See how these little corners, this can really be okay. You kind of get it over the spot. At least on that side, I got it over the spot, and then it just kind of pushed into place. There it goes. Yep. Just a little kind of downward pressure on it, sort of finagled it into place. Now, I have these very tiny screws here. While I'm here, I'm going to replace that. I realized I have replacements. I'm trying to get this. Oh, yeah. Wait, that part that was the first part that you go, because the inside was a little easier. Alright, hopefully that was visible. I finally figured out if I poked enough of it through to get a grip on it, I could actually kind of gently pull the rest of it through, especially with a new one like this, which is a little bit slick. It's kind of greased up. Now we have just making sure that's hitting right. Yeah, at this point, there you go. This comes back up onto those banana plugs, and boom, power from one side to the other. That is such cool engineering. No. You guys? No. You guys aren't. No. These are size, so you can move this. Okay, no. Anyways, just make this. No, thanks. On mine, when I got into this, this little plastic bit was already pretty much disintegrating. So this really just kind of keeps cables in place, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. At some point I'll take the time to look at the parts catalog and order that piece. Maybe just a little dab of hot glue. Yeah, I'll put a little dab of hot glue on that while I'm in here to keep everything secure. Alright, that's gonna work. A little dab of hot glue. Put these back in their proper positions. 2, 3. Size? Yes, for sure. Yes, I know. This has been used for a long time. Just go in that hole. Oh, yeah. The shorter T9s. This has to snap down. That's not it. What I did is I re-snapped this down and tested to make sure the button mechanism is seated properly. Now, we'll go in with these, the short ones to the rear, longer ones to the front. Under here, see? Grab light. Under here. What's that light, sorry? What are these? Okay, so what we're looking at here on my messy floor is the Inspire 2 tipped up. So you can see underneath where I've got that line, the power lead coming out. And then what I've done here is I've designed a part to hold the DJI FPV camera, and it fits beautifully. I'm so excited about this. perfectly fits right there. So these little bits right here have a nice little level with the ground slot, level with the, and then I'll put the air unit underneath. I'll share this design with you in the comments below on Thingiverse. You can see here too, this was my second revision where I tilted it forward a little bit to match the angle. You can see it's the bottom plate. Up with my feet here. It's this piece that it goes onto, so it's got a slight angle, and I tried to match that. Well, there's my prototype. I'm gonna have to refine more as usual, but yeah, I've got this plate. I'll show you how that fits on the Inspire 2. Got little slots built in for the antennas to hopefully hold them in place. So this whole thing's gonna hang like that, with the antennas hanging down, which should be pretty good. So let's give that a try for fit. Alright, well, at least for now, here's what we've got. The front bit for the FPV, replacing the really terrible built-in FPV camera. So it just straps right on there. And then at the moment I've just got it zip tied because I actually built it with a plate. But I'm going to rethink this design a little bit. It's got to be, because this cable is so short, it's got to be close enough to the front to work there. So you really can't, you kind of have to have it over this little flex plate that hangs down. So I had to build in some clearance there. And for now I've just got this extra zip tie on, I think for security's sake. We'll see how we go. But now I guess it's, I gotta wire it up. I gotta just connect up the wiring, test it all out, and then maybe we'll do a flight test. All right, let's power this thing up for the first time. And then all right, we'll see if we get anything. Ideally, we should be powering up the air unit right now with my external line that I ran. Oh, boom! Instantly got a picture. All right. Hello. Very nice. All right, well, we've got a picture. That's pretty exciting. Let's try it out. So what I'm doing is obviously flying with the regular DJI remote for the Inspire. I've got the crystal sky monitor, which is awesome. But the thing is that first of all, the FPV camera just is horrendous on the Inspire 2. And you're also sharing screen space. So even if you do have the FPV camera full screen, the picture is just terrible. Let's see, calibrate. Make a few adjustments. I'm going to take off like this. It'll take a minute to get used to, but see how my picture goes. Really strange feeling. I could see getting used to that. Sort of turn towards the noise of it, really. That's what I need to do. Keep my picture. Good thing about the Inspire, if I lose my picture, it'll just right itself. It'll be okay. This kind of flying wouldn't be as easy to do. I don't have to keep an eye on my battery and stuff. Yeah, I like this. Alright, well that's not the most exciting footage in the world, but the next thing we did is take the Inspire out to the dirt road where we like to run around, and we shot some much cooler stuff with it. And what this allows me to do is, even though I'm solo operator, I can lock the camera using the smart follow onto the truck or the subject, and then I can turn around with the FPV, put the goggles on and fly, and it allows me to fly much closer to obstacles, much closer to the ground, because I can see so much better. Check it out. So as you can see, I was able to really fly very low on this road, around obstacles, a pretty long way from my location, comfortably. And then this was just my second run with this, so I'm just getting comfortable with it. But I could fly through gaps and further away and around things much more accurately and comfortably than I could looking at the screen. And anybody who knows the Inspire 2 knows that the built-in FPV camera just absolutely sucks. If you've shot in the snow at all, I had on Top Gear last year some snow shoots. Actually, it was my first two episodes, and we were in the snow. It was the brightest day I've ever seen in my life, and we had to follow a white Lamborghini SUV on a snow track in the snow on a sunny day. And on that built-in FPV camera on the Inspire 2, I could not see anything. It was terrifying. And most of the time I'm working single operator, so I can see through the main lens on the Inspire. But a lot of the time that day I was working with a camera operator because of some of the shots we had to get, so I had to use that FPV camera. If I had this setup, then I would have gotten such better shots. And when we go back out on Top Gear next month, if we end up in snow again, I'm gonna be so much happier with this setup. So yeah, I hope this helped some of you. If you have questions for me, feel free to drop them in the comments, or go to furiouspugs.com, find out how to get in touch with me, and have fun out there.